What's up, everyone? Well, welcome back to another episode of the Back of the 135 Footy Show. It's been a while, just like my other two guests, just like our team's performance. A lot of inconsistency. It's, that's how we like to do it. It's me, Ice. I'll be hosting. Got my brother Stacey out there in the dirty south, ripping the Warriors. What's up, man? Stacey?
What's up, brother?
Anyone
Thanks for
home?
having me on.
Anyone home?
As a Warriors supporter, I wish I could come on with a better story, but shucks. Our team, the usual story, so...
Well, I told you all that's missing is a couple of bottles of wine. Because this is going to be a lot of bitching on this on this episode,
Yep.
man. And got my mate who just before we started recording told us that he scored 5 tries in his last in his All-Star game today, and the winning try. So he's giving himself a nice rum, like a glass of rum there. How's it going, superstar, mate?
What's up, also? Good to see you, boys. Thanks for having me on. I would have hit you guys up for more discussions over the year, but wasn't too much to talk about with my oldest year. So I'm glad when it comes to finals time you give us a buzz.
Yeah. Well, before we touch on the 4 games that that happened the weekend, I just want to go around, talk to the boys, because I know there's a lot of pent up frustration. And I'll start with the guy over the GC because he's quite mamau on me there, vini mais kamala. So, mate, the Broncos, what was good?
Yes, bro. Thanks, Uzo. Not pent up frustration. I was quite happy with how we finished the season off. To be honest, I think if you break it down into like quarters, the last quarter of the season was makuai. Another 5-6 games, we probably would have been in there in the finals. To be honest with you, mate, top 8. So we come home strong, but it was a tough year to start with. Definitely the first half of the year we didn't deserve to be anywhere near any of those teams. We're playing Fox Memorial level stuff, but it's good. We made a few changes, a few different personnel, roster changes. We've got a few good roster changes coming in for the new year as well. Some good buys, so things are looking on the up, to be honest. And no, it was good. It was good seeing the good young team finish off the season, and we got rid of some grubs, but it's good. We're good. I'm happy. I'm happy because regardless of results, all you ask for your team is that they show some make, and leave it all on the field. And so for the first half of the year, man, it was tough watching. We got smashed by some big scores, but definitely, like I said, last quarter of the year, probably didn't win all our games like we wanted to, but we were in the fight, and that's all you can ask, really.
Who would you give your player of the year, or a guy that you really thought, despite all the dramas, because you went through a bit of drama as well, especially there was a bit of talk with Steve, with Kevin Walters getting the personnel or the team went behind him, or there was a point where it sounded like he might have lost the locker room.
Yeah. When you're losing, bro, media like to spark that stuff up, bro. But player of the year, did you ask us from the team? Oh, that's the easy one. If you're gonna go on performances, and he actually won the Brisbane Broncos player of the year. Payne Haas, bro, all day. And probably looking at the whole comp, probably the best prop in the whole comp, if you ask me, on numbers wise, and what he's produced this year. My humble opinion, and not being biased to the Broncos, but if you're gonna pick a world team, here's your prop, bro. If not starting, definitely in the squad. But yeah, bro, he come a long way, man. He's like he started the year as probably one of the best players, and finished the year as a leader, which for someone so young, that's huge. And considering all the ups and downs and all the tough games that the boys produced, I thought he was probably the most consistent, and was rewarded with higher honours as well. He's one of New South Wales best players come off the bench there. So I think he was head and shoulders above everyone else in the team. Yeah, a couple of special mentions. I think we blooded a couple. I thought Fletcher, the other prop, he kind of once Hodge and Pangai Jr. left, I thought he stood up. He also another one that got recognised with higher honours, making the Queensland squad. So after he made that Queensland squad, I think he I seen his game elevate a little bit. It doesn't do as many meters as Haas, but definitely a big improver from last year. And Jordan Ricky is another one. Really impressed with young forwards, to be honest, and he's probably one of the better ones. Probably needs to learn a bit more, defending together, on his edge. But just in terms of just individually what he can bring offensively, he's one to look for. So there's probably 2 or 3 names that stands out to me also.
I saw Stacey kind of snicker when you said that Payne Haas was the best.
I saw that too, which is disgusting coming from a New South Welshman. Was one of your best props, really.
What was that with there? Why the little snicker there?
Who you got? Who's better than Haas right now? Front row.
Yeah, I will give him some credit because in a well-beaten team, he really stood out. But I like Fisher Harris. I think Fisher Harris is the one. So yeah, good take on the from Simon from the Bronx. Interesting. You break it down into quarters, and you say if in the last quarter they were good. If the season went on a bit longer, they might have made the playoffs. But I'm not sure how many runs you had before you jumped on, because the season could go for another 10 years, and they ain't making the playoffs, mate. That team was Gayasu. They just missed out on the wooden spoon. They're not making the playoffs. They're closer to the bottom than the top. So I think those rums are going down quite nice for you there on that call, bro. One thing I want to say about the Bronx just before you jump in there, Simon, is they didn't have any Queensland players in Game 3 for Origin, and I think that's the first time that's ever happened. So, yeah, I think the Bronx are on a downward spiral. They're the weakest team in Queensland, and yeah, tough season for them, for a really proud club, I'll say that.
Do you not realise your team, who they lost to miss out on the 8? And there was only like 4-6 points between second to last and 8. I don't know what you're doing at Massey High with the maths during maths, but we had a mathematical chance. Isaiah.
You did. The only chance the Bulldogs were going to make it if we had a 50-game season.
Well, we were in there. If we did some serious calculations, we could have made it.
Well, looks like our mate might have just dropped off there for a little bit. But what about while I got you on, when you in the last 2 names you brought up were Ricky and Fletcher. Looks like they had a bit of according to the headlines, a bit of a dust up, mate. What's
It's what I want to see, mate. It's what I want to see. It was just a serious training run that, someone went a bit too serious. The other guy couldn't handle it. There's another big blow up. It's really not news. It's like if I rewind it back, Mr. Kauto versus Bob Savalier back in first 15, mate. Just a blow up on the first. If you ask some of the boys from the 95 first 15, they'll tell you about that blow up at training.
Well, you've already started. You might as well fill up what happened.
Well, okay. Sorry. Side note: it's a different sport altogether. But we're playing Bull Rush, right? And Bob had this nice offal. I think he didn't want to get muddy, eh? And we're getting smashed all year. And so, like, it was just a muck around training. And Kamalo didn't want to partake, you know? And Kelto was like, well, run, you're run. And he got Ika after he got dumped and thrown into the mud. Threw his toys on the cot and left to the pavilion before training finished. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, bro. You're going to put your nice offal over the team? So that was a big bust up because he took off and he went training, you know what I mean? And so I compare it to that incident because you keep that shit in house, bro. It's not even a big issue. I'm glad you brought it up. It's just another Broncos is like one of the pits for the media to jump on, bro. All these rubbish stories and stuff like that. But when we're winning, everyone's kissing our ass. Broncos this, Broncos that. But when we're losing, these gutter journalists, bro, bring out these crappy stories.
Well, it sounded like you were a journalist giving us the dirt on Bob's evolution. Sure. You know what? About it sounds like it might have been one of his older brother's offals that he might have snuck off.
Yes, you tell us John and Tons, they were there. The Kamalo didn't want to get tackled in the mud.
Oh, that's how they breed him up in Messier.
Didn't want to take a hit for the team. Welcome back, Stace. I see when I contradicted your viewpoint, all of a sudden there was some technical difficulties, mate. Is this what we're going to put up with all day or what?
He's got
mate, there's only so much eats my headphones can handle, mate.
It's days like playing Janalamu and someone scoring a try on you and then you just sit in the court, eh? As you were, Stace. As you were, mate.
I've been having a few issues. Having a few issues, so good points there on the Broncos. That's all I wanted to say. I'm not sure if you caught my last point that Game 3 of Origin, the Broncos didn't have a single player in there for Queensland. That's the first time that's ever happened, and that just shows how far the Broncos have dropped. They've never happened before where they haven't had
I mean, the Game 3 that we won? The game we won?
Yeah, we didn't have any. Yeah, when they got rid of all the Broncos players, they won. Yeah, that one.
I'm pretty sure Fletcher was on the bench there, bro.
I don't think so. I think Coates was supposed to play and then he got hooked. He was the only one.
Pretty sure Thomas Fletcher got called up to the bench there, mate. Cams, can we just Google that one, mate? This guy's making false claims. I'm pretty sure he was on the bench.
No Broncos on that Queensland team. So yeah, from the heydays of having 10 players in Queensland to barely getting a guy on, it just shows how far they've fallen down the pecking order. That was sort of my last point.
Oh, let's just have a look at any of those guys, where they're from. Broncos territory, bro. There's a lot of them. Probably like 80-90% of them. But that's another topic.
Yeah, again, shows how the poor the recruitment is. And Reece Walsh, we guys like this jump. I'll put the boot in enough. It's enough for the.
Before we move on to the Warriors, how frustrating was it for you to watch Mufford get man of the match on the last game of the season, bro? The way that guy, because you were paying big money. The MILF.
Oh, nah. It's not frustrating because, he's capable of those games. And, but, sorry, what's going to happen in the next 12 rounds? He's one of those guys who'll pull that out. And, I'm happy that he's going to Souths. Because, I kind of believe, like, when Bennett left, he just, like, because his issue, I don't know, man, not knowing him personally, but his issue seems to be up here because skill-wise, man, he can foot it with the best halves of the comp. And his ceiling is right up there with the best halves, bro. But his shit games, there's more shit games than that. So, I mean, awesome for him to finish the year off the way he did. But regardless of how he played, bro, I'm glad he's gone, because glad for him and glad for the team, because that's a big chunk. $1 million a year is a big chunk of your salary cap, and when you're not producing like he wasn't, man, 1, 2, 3 games at the end of the year is not going to change that. But I think
He's a quality player. He's only 27.
Yeah, he's got heaps
So
of
he's still
footy
young
left in him.
enough.
That's one thing.
He's still
He
young
needed
enough.
a change. He needed to get out, different environment, and he'll probably flourish down there. It'll be interesting how Souths go without Bennett, but I don't know if he's gonna be starting, because Reynolds coming up to Broncos, so there's a space there, but you also got Benji there, who's I think he's got another year on, so maybe there's a case for him to be a number 14, but definitely as a running half. I think if I could just comment on him in general, I think the Broncos really wanted him to be like the organizer at first, to be a half, the halfback, which he's not, and because that pressure of being $1 million, yes, okay, you're the man, kick us to the corners, do everything we ask, but he's not that. He's one of those guys. He's a piece of the puzzle. He's a running number 6 that can kick if need be, but I think just too much pressure on him maybe. But he's definitely capable, but he's not going to be your number 1 guy in the team, which the Broncos thought he was. So
I think the interesting part on what I think just the interesting part of what you're saying is because he's a running 5'8", and he's always been there. Like when he's played his best, and even at this time with the Raiders, he's a run first guy. So he probably would have been really good now with Reynolds there, who's a genuine game manager and organising half, and he can just play his natural game. So it's quite ironic that he's leaving when the guy he's needed this whole career is actually arriving.
I think it was the price tag. As soon as he got that, because in the year we made the final, when we lost to the Cowboys, bro, he was on top of his game. He was probably one of the best halves of the comp. The year he signed $1 million, that 4 years, it all went downhill from there. So, and the expectation, obviously, when you're getting paid that much money, people are going to expect big things. But it just coincided with him landing that contract, and I don't begrudge any players getting their money, man. You got to get paid, because you're not going to last long in this game. But for him, I think it was a bit of detriment to his football. But like I said, good move going down south. Definitely, he's not going to be anywhere near that money, but at least he's gone a long way to supporting his family, and So, anyways, we got rid of him.
And best of luck to Milford, because hopefully he does reach that level that he was. He was knocking on the origin door for Queensland, and when he came up from Canberra, and those first couple of seasons he was there, he was on top of his game. So
how good would him and Luai be in the house for Samoa, bro? Yeah, even you got that number 7 from the Warriors, Harris Tavita. So
Harris Tavita.
Samoa, for Samoa, definitely you'd want Milford to be right up there, man.
Now crossing over to Stacey, because I know he's been wanting to talk about his team for a while, even though it'll probably sound like our last episode from last year.
Was this the year, Stace? This was meant to be the year.
Wow, no, I think next year was going to be the year. I think this was going to be a platform to build for next year. But Isaac made a good point. I think if you listen to my review from last year, it's very similar to this year. Basically, for a while, the Warriors have missed the playoffs now 9 of the past 10 years. It's been a very similar story. So, just having a look at the table, finished 12th, 4 points outside the top 8. So you always think about those close losses. There was a loss to the Dragons where they had a 12-point lead with like 10 minutes to go. They probably should have won that one. And there was another loss to the Raiders where they were winning 16-0. And then they just dropped their bundles. So it's always a similar story for the Warriors. So close, those close ones that they just can't get over the line. They've got that 60 minutes of goodness, and then they just can't get it done. So I thought it was hard on the coach. Like I mentioned, their poor record. They've been poor for a while. So it's hard for a coach to just come in and expect it to turn it around in 1 year. But I saw enough positives that I think that next year, I know I say this all the time, but next year I'm quite optimistic that we're going to make some strides forward. Got some good signings too for next year, which is going to help. That's what I think about the Warriors. Good year. Oh, not good year.
It was a fail year, eh? You guys, you thought you were good enough to make the 8?
I thought we're in a rebuild. I know rebuild is a bad word for you guys at the Bronx, but I'm happy to say
Oh,
that we're
rebuild
rebuilding.
now, eh?
I mean,
Also,
you can't
not
get a new
making the
coach
8.
and expect a team that finished 13th the year before, a new coach and new systems to turn it around quickly.
Well, I asked the same question that I asked Sai. Who do you think stood out this year? Who do you name a few guys that really, besides the result or where they ended up at the table, because there were games that he's really played well. Who stood out for you, or who are a couple of the guys that stood out for you, bro?
Yeah, I thought, the attack really struggled at times the season prior, and I thought they had really good go forward, especially when they got Matt Lodge. But for Noah Blake, he was probably the guy who stood out for me. Just the yardage through the middle. It was obvious when he got injured for a period, like 5 or 6 weeks there, that they just couldn't get anything flowing. So, it's the old adage of rugby league that the game's always won and lost up front, and that go forward that they got from Noah Blake was a real difference. So yeah, I'll pick him, and I thought just the guys in their spine really functioned a lot better when he was going. So yeah, good go forward from Fanor Baker. I'll give it to him. Tohu Harris, I think, is probably their best player, but I know that Roger's gone. But yeah, he's missed a big chunk of the season. So yeah, Fanor Blake for me, probably the standout. And I'll give a special shout out to Ewan Aitken. He came over as a centre. Then they had some issues with the back row, and he made that transition. The coach decided to pick him in the back row for the last sort of 6 games, and I thought that worked really well. So yeah, special shout out for that, and Curran too, the two back rowers.
Yeah, bro. I watched a lot of Warriors games. I don't know if it was the time that they had, but I took a keen interest because my first cousin is Akali'i is Bunty so I always take an interest in the Warriors games. Yeah, it's my little nephew. But bro, but watching Curran, man, I like the look of this guy, man. He's awesome second row. He's like not your. He's probably like the closest thing to Lowatiri. Like, doesn't have the physicality, but skill wise, because a lot of second rows are, come in, hit the line, quite hard kind of type prototype players. But he's quite a skillful second row that can set up and feed his centre. So I thought he was. I think Harris won the Player of the Year, but I think Curran, if he started the whole year, he probably would have ended up taking the Player of the Year. But he's a good up. I think they were like in with that group. Like if you put Cronulla Sharks, from 6 to 10, and around those teams that that they're fighting for the 8, and they pretty much ended up where they deserved to end up because they had finished the year pretty bad. But like you were saying, Stacey, man, they were only 2 or 3 wins away, which a lot of their games they lost not by much, but I didn't expect big things of them. They're probably like, especially when Roger left, they're probably a superstar short. Because if you look at the big teams, man, you need to go to the next level, man, you need 1 or 2 superstars, really. And they're probably, after Roger left, they got a lot of big team of battlers, but you didn't really expect big things of them. Like, I didn't think they were going to finish higher than 6, but just in that group of, where I put the Broncos in that same group as well, was not far, but like just making up the numbers for the 8. You know what I mean? Because if you want to be honest, it's like a 5-team comp, really. But I would have thought it's a fail for them, bro, because they were hardened. They're a hardened team, bro. They're always in the fight, but just lacking the execution to finish games off.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, like, if you look at, say, a team like the Roosters, they've had injuries galore, and if you could give a team an excuse to not make the 8, that'd be the team you'd pick. And sort of like the Warriors, you give them an excuse because you say, oh, they've been away from home and all this, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, if you give them an excuse, they'll take that excuse. Whereas the Roosters, they have never made any excuses about all the injury toll. The coach, Robinson, he never brings it up, all the injuries that they're going through and all the rest of it. So it's sort of just interesting when you look at the culture of things and just get the job done type mentality that the Roosters have that the Warriors need. So, yeah, I agree with that. Fair call. I will say we've got Sean Johnson coming back next year. We got him on the cheap too, so I think that's a plus. That's a bonus. I thought that's what the Warriors missed. They don't have, like, similar to the Broncos, how they expected Milford to be that organising half, which wasn't his thing. They've asked Harris Tavita to do a similar job, and that's not really his game either. So I think Sean Johnson, he's not
Man,
that
that'll be a good
flashy
combo.
He's not that
Yeah.
flashy steppy guy anymore. He's a genuine game
He's
manager
matured a
type
bit, eh?
half now of his injuries. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm
He
with you.
doesn't
That
have
could
the
be a
pace
good
that he
combo.
was, but yeah. Definitely he's matured a lot, and I think going back home, man, he'll be keen to finish off his career there. So, bro, that's a good combo, man. Man, Harris Tavita, man, I love watching that guy play, man. He's awesome. He's got some good skills in him, man, and the man can hit. But like you said, he shouldn't really be the organising half. He should be the half that's just, eyes up footy half kind of guy.
Yes, I think Sean Johnson's going to make a difference. Another year of Nathan Brown's coaching, so a bit longer to acclimatise to his style. Could do well. So, oh man, I don't want to say it, but next year, watch out. Watch out for the Warriors, brother. And we're making some strides forward. Also, Roger, he was on $1 million and they haven't spent all his money, I don't think. So there could be more signings in the pipeline, which could strengthen my points. So, yeah, disappointing season, but probably the danger, if you look at it that way, is your Warriors fans are always optimistic that next year something good's going to happen. So it can be a bit of a roller coaster, but I do genuinely think. Honestly, I say it every year,
And
but
the
this year,
Broncos,
man, I think next year we're
the
going to do
Broncos
something
did
good.
help you out with some recruitment. We try to
Yeah,
feed you enough players,
we're happy
mate,
with those. We'll take them, mate. We'll take them. We'll take them and make them better players than they were with your team. Anyway, I'll tell you that.
Reece Walsh, he obviously wasn't ready, but you guys threw him into the fire, but he did alright. He did alright.
I would, yeah. I mean, he's going to get better, and I suppose that's the good thing. He's going to get better. What about you, Ice? You want to touch on? Carry on.
I'm looking forward to this one, mate.
So, this is my internet's dropping out here.
Mate, it was a good finish, bro. It was a good end to the year, mate.
Honestly, if you talk about frustrating, bro, that was me being a Bulldogs fan. But I'm when we saw the big list of guys that are leaving, Napa, Katoa was one of them. I was like, no, they needed to go because Napa, well, he was on big money, and the guys, and he hasn't reached back that form that he had at the Roosters and that.
Yeah, Napa's been mad.
Yeah, and I hope where he goes to, he becomes better, because
No one wants him, bro. I don't think he's been picked up yet.
well, I reckon he's still got it in him. I just think we might have played it out of him, and because the Bulldogs were so bad. There were times, there were games that we watched the show. It was like I'd go back to work and Hens would be telling me, "Bro, did you watch the Bulldogs?" I go, "Yeah," and he'd be breaking it down. I'm like, "Yeah, I saw that too." The guys weren't coming forward. The backlight looked like we were doing training. Well, on the training pitch most of the field, man.
But yeah, Oz, if you looked at the start of the year, if you look at your roster, like, did you honestly believe that you were capable to make the 8? Just looking at the roster?
I'm a believer, mate. This is called faith. There's enough guys there. On potential, yes, maybe. But then I'm pretty happy that roster's been gutted up and got Phil Gould back, because as soon as he came back, there's that big turn of all these guys. We're making really big. We've made some big moves. We already had Adokar, but now we've got who else have we added?
I saw a possible team for next year. Not bad, bro. The lineup looks pretty good, man. Burden and number 6. What about Flanagan, bro? Are you guys giving up on him or what?
I think he's gone. Poor dude. Yeah. I think he might have to go off Lachlan Lewis and start trying to sell those Bluetooth.
Bro, Lewis, man. A couple of years ago, he was looking alright.
He was good. You know, he's a strong defender. Has a bit of a bit on him, but no, I watched the games, but it was like I was either cursing out Trent Barrett. You know, because Trent Barrett, when he was at the Seagulls, he had a loaded team too, man, and he still couldn't make it work.
I think Dean Pay did a better job with the same team than Trent Barrett did, man. At least you guys were in the fight last year.
See, that's why I'm glad Phil Gould's there, because Phil Gould, if Trent doesn't perform next year, mate, she's gone, mate. But so I'm optimistic for next year. You know, I think with the signings that we've got, and we've still got some young guys coming through that, they got a bit of exposure this year. You know, I'm quietly optimistic. I think we'll finish higher than both of you.
I'm just happy that
no higher than the Warriors. Maybe the Bronx, but not the Warriors.
Hey, look! I'm willing. Let's just we'll say it now. Because this is going down on record. We have a little side bet there, but I'm pretty positive that we'll finish higher than both of you, mate.
There's optimism, and then there's come on, buddy. Come on, mate. Do you not know?
I've got faith in the Warriors over your two teams. You two will be in the same positions this year as you've been the last 2 years, which is fighting it out for the spoon. Your two teams.
When you finish 10th and 11th, and we finish just inside the 8th, you'll see. You'll see what I mean, and how.
We will see, mate. We will see.
I like the signings, but it doesn't come together that quick. And not with a rookie coach like Trent Barrett. I think you need a gun coach to pull it together fast, and I don't know if he's up to it. Like those signings look good on paper, but to build it, especially the spine positions. Nick Meaney's leaving. They're getting Burden in. They're going to have a new halfback probably. It takes a while to build a good spine. You look at the great Melbourne spine that they had, where they were dominant for those years, built around that big three, but they played together for years. So just to build a spine takes time, and I don't know if they can pull it together that quick. One thing on that Nick Meaney, you watch out for him, man. The Storm have a history of taking these guys and making them guns. He's going to be one of the best signings next year, I reckon. Nick Meaney.
When Nick Meaney first got to the Bulldogs, he was the man, bro. And then,
when he first got there.
When he first got there, his first couple of games.
And
then you
like a lot of their players. It was all downhill from there.
It was like Harry Potter. There's the mentors. They come and they go and suck the soul, that's what the Bulldogs were doing this year, man. They were sucking all the talent out of their boys and were running around.
I think Barrett was fucking pissing against the wind, man. Like, so you give him an excuse this year. Pretty, and the roster was the same as last year, but you wouldn't really expect much from him. But next year, he's got some class coming into his team now. So, man, if they don't make the 8, surely he's got to be gone, man. Because that looked like a top 8. I saw it online somewhere. Someone put up a possible lineup, and man, that looked like a decent team, man. They got Pangai Jr., he's hot and cold, bro. But like Milford, his ceiling could be one of the best second rowers in the game. Who you guys got? Burden, man, he's ripping up right now in the centers, even though centers, but seeming at number 6, he's gonna be the man.
That's going to be interesting what happens with Burden, because if he's got the potential, but if he goes like the rest of those Bulldogs guys who come in for the potential and it gets sucked out of them, he could be another.
If I was his dad,
but never made it.
I would have fired his agent, mate. I'm like, what are you doing, son? Why are you going there, man? Yep. This is your last big contract. After that, you're on crumbs, bro.
as long as he doesn't turn it to Jack Burden, bro, you know,
Yeah.
from a little China. You know, if he turns it and he's driving trucks in the next 2 seasons, because the Bulldogs sucked it out of him like Jack Burden.
And Edo Carr, mate, he's not going to make Origin next year, mate. Edo Carr's going to be like, give me the money, but, mate, he ain't playing finals anymore, bro.
Look what happened
That's
to
the end of his career, mate.
Partridge was playing Origin the year before for New South Wales, and then he went to the Bulldogs, and that's it. His Origin career's done, man.
It's just that balance. You want the coupe and play shit footy. What do you want? Or you want to play good footy, play crumbs, or you want the coupe and play shit footy, bro? That's what you got to ask yourself when you go to the doggies, mate.
Nah, mate. We're back to the dogs of wars, boys. And like, I'm gonna write this down. And this is gonna be online, so I'm gonna go back this time next year when we're in the semis, and I'm gonna say, sorry, boys, you know.
Oh, semis, not finals, just semis. Wow, that's a big jump, boss. Just try and make the 8 first.
You gotta walk before you run, mate. To the semis, and then unless you make the final.
Let's try have a positive for and against first. Can we? Let's just crawl before we walk.
The defense and the attack.
God, semis, mate. Shit, bro. This got high hopes, bro. High hopes.
You gotta have faith, mate.
I can't even remember the last time. I think Sonny Bill Williams was still playing the last time you guys made the finals or what?
No. Don't. None of that, mate. None of that.
Oh, no, Dizzy. Yeah. I remember you guys lost the grand final.
We lost 2, mate. We lost 2 in a row, mate. Remember that?
Oh, mate. Yeah. Nah, it must be a culture problem over there.
No, we're back. You know, I've heard the talk around the campfire down at the Canterbury Leagues Club, and apparently the mood is back to the Balmore days, bro.
I hope so, bro, because man, growing up in the 90s, man, Doggies was always one of the big teams, bro. So I hope for the comp that they come back up, bro, because they got a big fan base, man, especially out there in Balmore, man.
Yeah, you talk about that Phil Gould factor, because you look what he did with Penrith, how he turned them around, rebuilt all those juniors. That team that they got now is basically filled up with Penrith youngsters that he helped to nurture through with his systems. He was supposed to do that for the Warriors, and then COVID hit. So you guys, that's how he ended up leaving us for the Bulldogs. But I like the idea of what he can do. He can build a club from the ground up, long term planning. So I think if he stays there with the course, I think he can get it done. Not by next year, but that's a 3, 4, 5 year plan type deal.
Nah, that's definitely that's a positive. I think that's probably the best signing is Gus Gould, man.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Me and the rest of the.
It's got to give you something, mate. Chiefs been losing, Doggies been losing.
Whoa.
Something to hang your head on.
Whoa.
It's just a tough year for footy for you Eels.
The Jets. You're talking about the New York Jets and all those other teams you support.
Your Knicks, Zakaria. I mean, who are you supporting these days?
We made the playoffs, mate.
Knicks.
We made the playoffs, mate. Made the playoffs. Made some big signs. Kimber's back home. We're back, bro. We're back. Don't worry, brother. We're good. We're good.
Kimber.
Oh man.
Okay. Reaching there in the east.
Anyways, before we talk about how good my teams are, what did you take of the quality of the football this weekend, boys? I'll start with you, Stacey. There was 4 games. There was the Storm, Seagulls, Roosters, Titans, the Panthers, Rabbitohs, and the Eels and Knights. Overall, what's the quality compared to the last game of the season?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a step up. You could see that teams, the desperation. So obviously the season's on the line, and you've worked hard for the previous 24, 26 weeks, however long the season is, just to get a chance at a premiership. And there are some teams, well, one team I'll say who really stood out. I thought Melbourne, they looked to me like the best team on show, so I think they're going to take some beating. Every year there's always an upset, so just trying to pick which one it was. And I thought the Rabbitohs, that was the game that I thought, that was the one that surprised me, the Rabbitohs over the Panthers. If you'd asked me before, I would have picked the Panthers over the Rabbitohs as being the obvious one to win. Just no Latrell Mitchell. I think the Rabbitohs have lost 5 in a row against the Panthers. But, Wayne Bennett, he's the master man and he got it done. So, yeah, overall I thought it was a good standard of footy. Interesting to hear what you guys made of it.
Yeah, bro. I was I think the quality definitely was a step up. A couple of surprises. I was surprised with Manly. I thought, man, just the way they finished the year. I picked Manly to beat the Storm, even though it was pretty far fetched pick. But I just thought that they were just gonna be on a run, man, like the '09 Eels. But bro, Storm just showed, man. Like, and I thought maybe the week off gave their main players a good rest, because man, they came out strong, man. And Storm did what Storm did, but what I was really surprised at is just, man, the Manly forwards, bro. They got blown away, man. Like, I think I saw I don't think any of their the only one to make over 100 meter was Trbojevic. The forward pack was non-existent, man. They had a really quiet game. And Trbojevic, he made like 160 or something like that. But for fullbacks, that was slow. And then not only for fullbacks, but for him, he'd been averaging like 300, 260 plus. So they really did a good job on him, man. And the other game, that I kind of got wrong was Panthers Bunnies. I really thought Panthers, and even before this whole year, during the year, I really thought Panthers and Storm was like a 2-horse race, probably like everyone else. And I don't know if it was really like don't get me wrong, the Bunnies played awesome, and it's just that's another example. I had a look. The Panthers forwards, man, like no one ran over 100. I think Kikau coming off the bench ran over 100 meters, but Bunny's forward pack did a really good job on the Panthers. But at the same time, because Bunnies play pretty what Wayne Bennett teams play, man. Tough in the pack, tough on defense. Don't give them nothing. High completion rate. But I thought it was more so Panthers not really being on their game, man. They didn't play like what we expect of them, and they're a high. They play, they like to move the ball on the edges, can rely on Cleary's kicking game, but I just thought that they did a good job on their outsides starting the sets off with Bunnies. They did up really well, so that was and saying that, Panthers still gonna be dangerous, man, and there's a good kick up the ass for them. Because Bunnies deserve the win, but I thought Panthers not playing it where we expect them to play. The other two games, I really surprised me was I picked the Roosters, but I thought the Titans played way better than what they have been playing, and was almost a mirror of their season, bro. They had the opportunities, the game was there to win, and they lost it, man. Roosters, bro, they I think their experience and some of their big time players won the game for them. But I don't expect the Roosters to go much further. I think I forgot who they're playing. And just touching on the last game, I just quickly so I don't know, like you can never count out their big stars in that Roosters team, but I just think they're a bit. They look a bit of a tired team, man. Like, it's just they still got some stars in there, but I think Manly will be a bit hurt or I'm hoping, because man, it was Storm. Storm really did a good blueprint on how to beat Manly. Like, just old school, man. He deprived them of the ball, make them run from crappy situations. They got nothing. Doesn't matter how good your backs are, they can't operate without enough space. Eels win. Eels Newcastle went the way I kind of expected. It was closer than I thought, really, but I thought Newcastle's their team was kind of like the best of the rest. You know what I mean? So where it finished up is exactly where it kind of deserved to finish up, even though the Titans had the chance to win the game. They don't really deserve to be up there. Like, it's just a hard thing to say because you're in a chance to win the game. You win the game, but man, they made the 8 on a losing, on the win-loss record. You know what I mean? So it was really like a 7 team finals, and where it ended up, the teams that were consistent during the year been rewarded. The teams are still surviving, but yeah, man, it's a good matchup this week because I got my ideas on who I think should go through, but man, a couple of my picks went kind of south there, so it's still up in the air, man. And Mitchell Moses, he played pretty good, man. So you can't discount the Eels, but I'm picking the Eels and the Seagulls to go through, but at the same time, I'm not really confident, bro. Yeah, bro. Oh, no. Sorry, my bad. Picking the Seagulls to win and the Panthers to go through. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I think, your picks last week, I think 90% of people would have seen it going their way, unless you're a diehard fan, Like, everyone was, if there was going to be an upset, I thought it was going to be the Seagulls. I thought they had a chance to catch Manly, to catch the Storm off guard. But the Storm came even more prepared, so.
Man, the way Manly been playing in the last month, I thought to myself, because you know what? You picked two teams, definitely Storm and Panthers, and I kind of drew a line through the Bunnies after Latrell was done for the year. But then watching Manly, I thought, man, they got the attack to upset any of these two teams. I wasn't going to say that they're going to win it, but they got the attack to shake it up. So that was the huge disappointment from them, bro, because Storm didn't do nothing that they don't normally do, man. You know what I mean? It's like, even Pappenhausen had a good game, but you expect their big fours to roll through. You have to be on your game to beat the Storm, and I don't know, maybe it was maybe the Storm didn't allow them to play good, but I just thought that Manly were going to bring a bit more, man, and their forwards were disappointing, bro. It doesn't matter what game, Union League, your forwards still got to give that platform for the halves, man. You know what I mean? You can't just, it's easy to defend Trebojevic when no one else is doing anything, eh?
Stacey, you're back with us, bro. He just...
Well, yeah, no, experience matters in the finals too. You look at the Storm; those guys, all those Bromwich boys, and those forwards they've played Kafusi multiple finals games. You look at the Manly guys, like Schuster's had been outstanding all year. Olukuatu as well, another second row. They had nothing, and it's sort of, I wonder if they got a bit of stage fright. Their first ever finals game, I think that would have been for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with your other point about the rest. Yeah, about the rest. So, Melbourne rested their guys, South rested their guys. So I'm not sure if that week off for them made a difference and got it over the line for them, because the Panthers and the Seagulls both played their top team for their final round. So yeah, that rest might be important. And that's why I don't think the Panthers can win it now. I don't think the Panthers can win. I don't think the Seagulls can win. I think the teams that got the week off are the two teams that'll win it. That week off proved critical in that first week of the finals. It'll prove critical in the third week again. I think those are going to be the two finalists. I think the
Panthers are on the Storm side now, eh? Like on their side of the draw if they get through the Eels.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be tough, man. for them. I wouldn't rule them out though, because you know the Storm.
Yep.
The Storm is
Yep.
like you need a team that's like outside of the box to beat them, bro. You know, because they will defend like crazy. The best defending team, and on offense, on attack, man, they just know their roles. They don't do anything anything too crazy. You need like superstars or teams to do something unorthodox to beat them. And Panthers they've got the artillery to do that, to play that kind of team. But it just remains to be seen, man. Like come finals time, you got to be on your game. But I still think Panthers, Sea Eagles can beat the Storm on any given day. It's whether really we can bring it together on the day or not. But you have to say Storm are favourites. But still, I think any of those two teams can still beat them. So I wouldn't count out the Panthers.
See, Stacey's shaking his head there. He's disagreeing.
Have you put a line through the Panthers, bro?
I'll put a line through them. I think they're done, man. I don't think they're going to recover from that. I think they're done. They should have rested guys on that last week. I think that was critical. And I think they're going to come through to week 3 if they get that far, battered and bruised. So I'm not sure how they'll hold up against the Storm, who will be rested. I mean, we already saw what a rested team could do against a top shelf Manly team. I think if the Panthers get through, though, I think they'll get put to the sword. And those facts you make about the Storm, how they stick to the book and they don't play unorthodox, that's sort of the old school Storm. These modern Storms, they are at plus 499 for their points differential. That's the NRL record. And they've had the most games where they've scored over 40 points. So Craig Bellamy, he deserves some credit. They were historically the wrestling team. But they've completely revolutionised their whole attack with their new rules. So playing out the box, they can play out the box as well. They can beat you in multiple ways. I still like the Storm over all of them.
Yeah, bro. Especially Grant, eh? Grant's a big point of difference, bro. Because when they start with Brandon Smith, they're smash and bash team. But when Grant comes on, it's almost like he knows how to unleash Hughes, how to unleash Munster, and you really notice a big difference when Grant comes on. And you're probably right there. You know, with Grant in the team, they've got a bit of a bit left field kind of attack. But with Smith there at 9 when they start, they don't do anything. They don't do anything too hard out. They just complete their sets. But in that last 20, in the last half of the first half, you see them especially when Grant comes on, man. They can add a lot different to what they used to. Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's a fair point, bro. They're gonna be hard to beat, man.
Yep. Yeah, but with the intensity of the finals, so the first 20 minutes is sort of that feeling up period. Then when the fatigue starts to kick in, that's when Grant, like you mentioned, and he's running against, even if a guy's sort of 5% tired, he'll find you out, and then that brings Munster and the rest of the guys in with his running game. So, yeah, big fan of the Storm and what they do in Bellamy. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds for the rest of the finals.
Simon's already given his predictions for the games this weekend. He picked the Seagulls and the Peppers to go through, and I'm gonna say about 95%, unless you're a hard out Eels or Roosters fan, probably predict the same thing. Are you leaning towards those two teams as well, or do you see an upset? Stacey.
Yeah, I'm picking an upset. There's always upsets in the NRL, and I'm going to pick one. I think the Sea Eagles, because Tom Trbojevic he's that good. He's the best player in the world at the moment. He won't have two quiet games in a row. So I think the Sea Eagles will win. But I quite like what Parramatta are doing. That sort of smash mouth type footy. I think that could really catch the Panthers. So and Mitch Moses, I thought he was close to the best player I saw in the finals. This week of the finals. So, he's hitting form at the right time. He's been criticised for not performing in big games, and I thought, he came good. And they've switched the sides. So Dylan Brown and Mitch Moses have switched sides. Mitch Moses is now playing on the right, and Dylan Brown's on the left. So they switched that about 6 weeks ago, and that's really improved their attack. So I quite like what Parramatta's doing. And I know I rubbished them in our when we did our last show, preview show, thinking they weren't going to be any better. But I'm giving them a shout. I'm picking them to get through. Panthers out in straight sets.
Oh.
Ooh. Wow.
What people forget is that Parramatta beat them like 3 weeks ago, and that was and they were at pretty much full strength. So Parramatta probably got that, in their heads that now we can actually take these guys. So I think Mans and Timmer might be a bit nervous out here in the West when it comes to the when it comes to the Eels and the Panthers. What do you reckon after he said that? Side, do you think he's onto something there with his Eels take?
You know what? If both teams play at their best, then I think Panthers win easy. And it was interesting to see that you thought that Trebojevic was the best player in the comp right now. To me, I'd say Cleary, just overall. Like on attack, yeah, Trevor's the man, but overall as a footballer, I'd say Cleary's the man right now, the best player. But like if you were to pick both teams on their game, both playing the best footy possible, man, Panthers easy because I don't know, Eels are awesome, but they're one-dimensional, man. They have to they rely on their forwards to get those offloads, man. And Mitchell, Mitchell Moses, he's got to play well, and he hasn't played well all year, and a lot of the forward games has saved them. But if they're playing that kind of footy, the forwards can produce that those offloads, and Mitchell Moses playing on the back of that. They can trouble some teams, but Panthers at their peak, I don't think they got enough to trouble them. I think Panthers got way more points in them than the Eels do, but going on last week's, I don't want to sit on the fence, but going on last week's evidence, you had to say Eels, but I'm just counting on Panthers comeback, bro. Like they can't, this is do or die for them. They lost last year, so you'll have to think that deep inside it's burning there, bro. So they'll be up for this game, bro. And like I touched on before, I think they lost that game because they played not to their best. They allowed Bunnies to get over on top of them. I don't think Bunnies did too much extraordinary to beat them. I just thought they were down in their game. Panthers on their game when they're attacking and everyone's hitting those edges, bro. They're hard to beat. So I'm counting on the Panthers just to come back just because they lost last week, and two, mate, they lost the big dance last year. So I'm picking them, but I see where Stacey's coming from because just based on last week's evidence, you'd have to say the Eels are the better team, but. Just counting on the comeback, Eels.
It sounds like you're backtracking there. Sounds like Stacey might have put a little doubt in your mind there on your
I'm saying it's when you look at it logically, based on last week. Of course you picked them, but it's rugby league, bro. It's illogical. Sometimes that things happen for no reason. Like Ben Hunt back in the fucking 2017 final when he dropped that ball. That was meant to be our fucking year. We would have won it. So, things happen in football that you just can't predict. You just can't. And so, I'm going on a limb, picking the Panthers, that they've had a mud last 2 weeks, that they're going to come back. But when you're scientists and you look at the evidence, of course you can't pick them because they played bad the last 2 weeks. But I know as a footballer that they still got it in them to win.
Nice. So who's your man of the match? Who are you calling? Who are you predicting for your man of the match while we wait for Stacey to come back online for both games? So I'm only asking because I want to go make I want to go down to the tab.
We'll trust. Supercoach. You been playing Supercoach?
Nah, I've been just doing the NRL tipping one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, for the Panthers, they rely a lot on their, if you look at their forwards, especially their props, they're not always big meter eaters, bro. They rely a lot on their back three and you look at To'o, man. To'o's been running over 200 meters most games. He had a quiet game last week. So they do a lot of their dirty work, bro. The wingers and the centers. And they like to fucking throw the ball around, bro. Use their edges. Use fancy kicks to get their tries. That's why I was saying, they got that out-of-the-box kind of style to win. So, whereas Eels, they play up the middle, man. They rely on their forwards. So, I don't know, man. I think Cleary will be the point of difference, bro. Cleary will strangle those forwards. You can get the opposition forwards out of the equation if you just make them run from that corner, man. You strangle them in the corner. He's got the kicking game to do that. So I think Cleary for a big game, and Luai's been a bit quiet as well. So when Cleary's on song, kicking well, feeding his outsides, Luai, man, doesn't have to do much, man. So he's a real good hyper, he's brings that energy. So I think those two are for a big game. Those two.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for your picks as well. Even though Stacey, he's pretty good when he comes to these kind of outside of the box picks. So I might have to put down two bets.
Both ways, mate. Hey.
You got to make money somehow, brother.
Well, I think Panthers are favourites, even though the Eels won. So the Eels a bit funny this year. They've always been up there, bro. But no one's really backed them to go all the way. They're a solid. Eels have been a solid team, bro. But I think they're just missing that extra step, and I think this is them. This is them right here, mate. It's the end of the dance, bro. They're probably one bye away from being that team that can challenge for the finals. Imagine Latrell on their team, bro. That would be mean. I just think Eels are a team full of decent footballers, they got all-stars in their team, but they ain't got Hall of Famers. Do you know what I mean? You need one or two Hall of Famers.
Gutho's not he's just he's a good player, but not a superstar, or.
Oh, he's an awesome fullback, but solely he's carrying Tom Trbojevich's bags. He's buffing the shoes of the Roosters. Well, when you put him in, is he even third best? Let me have a look, man. Come on, man. And Tessie News right up there with him.
Oh, come on.
Who?
Tessie New. Solly, Gutherson. He's one of those hard workers, bro. He'll always run support for the forwards. He's always he's a mean supporter, but he's not a creator, bro. He's a mean runner, but he's not a creator. Fullback, you have to do everything, bro. You have to be mean on D. You've got to be mean off the ball. Throw those fucking balls out wide. I just think he's solid, bro. And they're all solid. Mitchell, Moses, solid. But like I said, ain't no Hall of Famers, bro. Ain't no Hall of Famers in the team. Trbojevic, he's going to be fucking... he'll be a Hall of Famer. What do they call it? They give them...
not an immortal.
I think he'll be an immortal, bro. If he does another 2-3 years of this, he'll be immortal.
Oh, bro. What kind of rum are you drinking, bro?
What you saw this year, if he has another 2-3 years, do you think he's up? I had a discussion with my mate from work, and I told him that he's better than Billy Slater. And my mate, who's Aussie, he almost squatted me in the face oh mate, how dare you? What are you crazy? But I just think that even though Billy Slater changed the fullback, role. Made it more than just a running fullback. He changed their role. I think Trbojevic offers way more than Billy does, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, not right now, but another 2, 3, 4 years of this form, surely got to be immortal, bro. Without him, and Latrell, Queensland would have won the series, bro. Stacey.
Oh, that's a big stretch, mate. I like the call. I like the call on Tom Trbojevic. It's still early days. He's not even 25 yet. So, we've seen guys like remember Ben Barber for the Bulldogs there with you guys. That one year that he just blew everyone off the park when he was at like early 20s. And you think to yourself, shucks, if he can carry this on, who knows? But that was sort of a one season, and then he sort of faded off. So that's the hard part for Tom Turbo. He needs to carry it on for more than Billy's greatness is not one great season. His greatness is 7, 8, 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's the part that Tom is going to have to do next.
This is the year that Tom's having is kind of like the Jared Hayne, the 2009.
Yes.
Jared,
yes.
the Hayne playing season, like that guy. Everything he touched, bro, he was, and it, just like if he had kept that up for, there was that kind of talk like this guy could be the greatest player of all time, but unfortunately there are a few things off the field and just form on the field, but you just hope that if Tom can do that and keep this up, Immortal though, I think there's a few guys that might be ahead of him and. When it comes to that, though,
eventually, like I said, you got to put Lockyer in there. There's a few people we got to throw in there first. But man, 15, 20 years down the line, you never know.
Well, who is the next Immortal before we finish up?
Man, I'm surprised. Alfie or Lockyer hasn't been mentioned, man.
Come on, mate.
Oh, the rolling of the eyes, Stacey.
Alfie was at the top of his game.
Nah.
You know what? Ricky Stewart was one of the best halfbacks, but he couldn't make the Aussie team, bro. Because
He made it. He made it.
Oh, when Alfie wasn't available, mate.
He made it. It wasn't clear cut who was the best halfback of their era, so it's hard to. You have to come there against Alfie.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Come on, mate. Come on. Alfie Langer. I think it skipped him. So that's alright. But definitely Lockie's got to be in there, man. He's got to be next.
If Lockie was going to be in there, he would have been in there already because he's retired. What? How long? Over 5. It's been a while.
These guys that just recently retired: Smith, Cronk, Thurston. Lockie's got to go in there before them, bro. That's my opinion.
Yeah. No, normally I would agree with that.
I don't even think Smith's an Immortal. I just think he's an okay 9.
Wow.
Oh no, wow. We'll say that for another episode.
It's when the rum has taken hold.
Slater, out of all of those Storm guys, Slater deserved Immortal. But Smith, are we gonna praise people who just play long? You know what I mean? If you have a long career
Smith
and just lucky enough to skip injuries, we'll give you Immortal. You can be Immortal. Come on, man. There's a lot of journeymen that's played long.
The amount of rum you be drinking, mate. Now you sound like Captain Jack Sparrow. You're like drinking like a pirate, mate.
I don't know why a lot of people are kissing Smith's ass when he played behind a good pack. He was alright. He's a bit of a grub, to be honest with you.
I think that's the thing.
Chicken wing.
I think that's the thing. People don't like him because they think he's grubby and all the rest of it. But it's not a personality competition. It's not a who you like. You got to take the accolades. You got to push that aside and look at what he's achieved in the game. And man, Andrew Johns, he jumped the queue when he got pushed in the Immortal thing, and that sort of stuffed it up for guys like Alfie and all the rest of it because that doesn't matter how long you've been retired. So for that reason, I think if Andrew Johns can jump the queue, Cameron Smith can jump the queue. He's the best player I've ever seen. He should be the next.
JT's going to go in there before Smith, I think.
Or they might put them in together at the same
Maybe.
time.
Let's just think about the football. Let's think about the football.
Yeah.
JT is responsible for a lot of those wins in the series. What's Smith got to do? Pass him the fucking ball, man. Esse me whainga ka. I can hit Thurston all day. What are you going to do, man? Pass the ball from the floor.
50% of the game.
Are we rewarding
defense?
That? You're immortal because you can pass. Offensive and all got a better pass.
It's the decision making, the leadership.
Thurston won the game.
Hitting the right guy, coming up with the right
Decision
option at
making.
the right time.
What? Pass or kick? Pass or kick?
Thurston was also
got
very
two
high
options, bro.
every season in missed tackles. Defense is 50% of the game. So Smith is a far more complete player for that reason. He's good on both sides of the ball.
But he won. He's won a lot of games, bro. He's won a lot of games. That is the game. 12 other people can defend for him. What
Cameron
I'm
Smith
saying
doesn't need anyone to do his defense
I don't
or his
see
attack.
why everyone's blowing up Smith's ass for. Where you're a hooker. You're a piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean? You're Pippin. You're Pippin. MJ's the one, bro. You know what I'm saying?
This podcast has taken a turn for the worst.
Mate, I don't get this infatuation of Cameron Smith. That's all.
That's
and I'm a
point.
Queenslander as well.
But
I'm just saying, you're a hooker. You ball one mouth, busted ball, mate. Give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? You're a point guard. Give me the ball, brother.
The hooker touches the ball more than anyone else on the field. So he's the most influential. I put this up in another one of these rugby league podcasts. His influence. He's the most influential player who's ever played.
If Danny Baderas was playing in that Queensland team, they'll still win the same amount of games, bro.
I don't know. Baderas couldn't do it without Johns. Smith could do it without Gronk and without Slater. So that's a big difference.
Ooh, I don't know.
They won last year. They won the title last year. They won the title last year without Gronk and without Slater. But they still had Smith. Smith was the one.
You know, this year they're still ripping up. They got two hookers who's even better skill set than Smith.
But they needed two guys to replace one guy. What does that tell you? They needed Brandon Smith and Harry Grant just to take over.
Bro, Brandon Smith on his day is probably all round he's a better defender than Smith. He's a better defender. His passes on par.
No.
His running game's better than Cameron Smith. Do you not agree that Brandon Smith is a better runner than Cameron?
He's probably a bit more athletic, man. So he looks faster. If that's what you're talking about,
Cameron Smith.
I'll give you that. He's not the fastest.
Cameron Smith has played behind a lot of packs, but I'm just saying, as a 9, he's alright. He's a Hall of Famer, but Immortal, NRL Immortal.
Is he the best hooker you've seen? Is he the best hooker you've ever seen, though? Cameron Smith? Because if you're the best who's ever played your position,
yes,
man, that's got to come for something.
Yes.
Then why doesn't that make him an immortal then?
Oh, so what's immortal? So immortal is if you're the best in your position, you'll be immortal.
In 100 years.
So Glenn Lazarus, who I think is the best prop in the world, should be immortal.
To me, I put Lazarus in there.
Yeah. Wendell Sailor should be immortal. One of the great wings.
He's not the best.
Hey, are you serious? Who's better than Wendell Sailor?
Ken Irvine's the best winger who's ever lived. Sorry.
Oh, come on,
Ken Irvine should be immortal anyway.
Biscuit's already there at the
Well, just because he scored all those tries. Hey, come on, bro.
Come on, mate.
That's a different game, man. All he has is catch and fucking put the ball down, bro. He didn't fucking hit the ball up. You know, all these wingers hitting the ball up, taking the ball up. Wendell started all that, bro.
You know, I'm seeing a pattern here that the 3 guys that you put up all Brisbane Broncos.
I'm just saying, being the best in your position is not automatic selection to be an immortal. To me, immortal means Okay, boys, you're in the huddle. We're down by 10. Give me the ball. I got you. I don't think Smith's like that. Smith's like, Kronk, Billy, I need you. Where do you want it?
What about this? What about this?
You know what
What
I
about
mean?
this? The last
He's a part
play
of
of
the
the
puzzle.
game is you need to make a tackle on a back row. Would you trust Thurston to do that? Because defense wins you games. Come on, mate.
It's interesting to see
Stop-
how
stop
you just
kick out.
make up these scenarios to fit your narrative. But
You just made up a scenario of this game
Not
being
making up
pass me the
your
ball.
I'm saying, skill set alone, who's going to win you the game? JT or Smith?
Who's the smartest player
No,
who's
it's
ever lived?
JT.
Who's the smartest player like in terms of
That's,
rugby league IQ? I'll put Smith up the top.
His influence on the whole game.
It's overrated, to be honest with you. It's overrated. It's a simple game. As a 9, you got 3 options. Pass, kick, run. Well, listen, you know what I mean? But, hey, it's opinion, bro. It's opinion.
Yeah.
You know what? It sounds like you've been reading Stephen Clover's. You and Stephen Clover have been exchanging notes, bro, because
I just don't get this infatuation with a hooker. A hooker! You know, when I used to play halfback at Liston College lunchtime held, I used to want the ball right there. Give me the ball right there. That's all he's got to do. Pass the ball right there. You know what I mean? But it's the 7, 1, 6. They're really the guys that influence who wins, man. 9, any Tom, Dick and Harry can pass the ball, G.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the Storm, they've got their hookers there, probably the best team. Panthers, Coruscant, he's up there, so they're coming second.
Uppy.
Damien Cook, he's the Australian hooker. You got the Rabbits coming third. So come on, man, the top 3 teams have got the best hookers.
I'd actually say Appy's got a better skill set than Cameron Smith.
Okay.
Anyway, that's a different discussion.
That's not part of the WesWes Network doesn't agree with the opinions of this person. Nah.
have you got enough ice there?
The opinions.
I don't know why you guys are blowing air up Cameron Smith, man. What's going on here?
You know what this really is? Is that your frustration that Alfie's not in there and the chance that
Man.
Cameron Smith's got
You know
to
when you get a Suncorp, any of those guys that's got that's got a fucking bronze thing at Suncorp, they should all be immortals, bro. Know what I'm saying? Alfie, John Eels, Wally, Mal Meninga. Oh no, not Mal Meninga. He's got a bronze statue, but it's at Canberra. But he's from Brisbane.
Well, that was a nice little sharp take you took from talking about who was gonna win the game
He's one that got away.
to one of the greatest fronts about Cameron Smith being overrated. I think a lot of the guys listening, people listening, are gonna have a bit of hot take on that one.
I just think that a lot of people, I think he gets a lot of credit for just his longevity, man. But I mean, like, a lot of people played long years, but it doesn't make them the greatest, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, but big ups to him for lasting that long. Like I said, the best 9, Immortal, that's another step. I reserve Immortal for elite status, bro. I don't just hand it out to anyone, bro.
Yeah. He was 9 times Dalium Hooker of the Year, so, that goes to show how dominant he was. Just in this one position.
Just goes to show how much the rest of the comp was, bro. That's what that says to me. Doesn't mean you're the greatest. Just means the other number 9 was mud.
Okay. We're 2 from here. We're 2
How do you say it? Oh, you're a bandwagon Smith guy too, eh?
All I know is that I was looking at the timer, and before you started your run, it was an hour.
I don't know why we got talking about Smith, but mate, I've had plenty of discussions about this guy, man. So I apologise to all our listeners. It was a bit of a rant, but I just want to express the views that let's not look at it with rose-petal glasses, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all over, hey, mate.
It's rose tinted. I like your rose petal. Extra flowers. You got the.
You know, you guys don't get those kind of muckers back in NZ, eh? E re maua ka mangainga.
You know what I want you to record is that when you have these debates before your workmates, because it sounds like it gets pretty heated over there when you.
Mate, that's why it was good. It's good practice, bro. Because these mofo's, it's just so easy to, you know, you can watch Fox NRL and come on, but I just come with different angle, you know, like. But it's all opinion, bro. It's all opinion.
Yeah.
Do you think he's the next one? I think Billy's the next one.
I don't know, man. Stace?
Well, I think because Andrew Johns jumped the line, so Smith is the best player after that. So yeah, if one guy can jump the line, then I don't see why Cameron Smith can't. He should be.
I'll ask you another question, because I had an argument with another guy about this. I told this other guy that Greg Inglis is immortal status, and he laughed at me. What do you guys think?
I don't think so.
Shit.
No.
Really? Greg Inglis?
I think there's only 8 immortals.
Wow.
In the 100+ years of rugby league, so you've got to be basically the best player of your generation to get in. That's how exclusive it is. And as great as Inglis was, he looked like he cruised through periods, and then he had that mentality where if he wanted to play, he'd be awesome. So he was always awesome for Queensland, but at club level, he was just sort of fading in and out of seasons. So I do hold that against him, particularly if we're only talking about 8 guys in 100 years of rugby league. Like, would you say he's the 9th best guy if you're going to make him the 9th immortal who's ever played? I wouldn't.
I think an immortal should be when you want to, you can just win the game on your own, and he's one of them.
Yeah, but you got to. But what about a guy who wants to win it every week? Or who performed every week in, week out? I think that's got to count for something.
We all want to be great, but, you know, are we going to reward person who plays hard and doesn't reach those?
No, we're going to reward someone who works hard and achieves those heights.
Are we going to reward the greatest?
So, I mean, like I said, would you say he's the 9th best player who's ever lived? Because he's going to be called the 9th immortal in 10 years of footy.
I think I think the amount of games probably hasn't done enough, but I think the ceiling of what he's produced definitely should
what
be
about
right
the
up
lows,
there
though?
with the
I don't know.
greatest, man. I mean, I saw some
Just trying to Google him. I don't think he ever won a positional award for Dally M, ever. But that I might have just made that up. Actually, I think he won 5'8" of the year one year.
Pretty sure, didn't he win like a?
Yeah, I think he won Dally M 5'8" of the year
once,
that year that they first won it. But I might have made that up too.
See, I'll put him before Smith. But then, on your logic, you say all those Melbourne Storm guys. You say only one of them is guaranteed. You say one out of your out of your whole era.
Like, they've only had 8 in 110 years of rugby league. So I mean, you've got to basically be the best player of your era to even get selected, almost. So I know that Queensland team was great, but I don't see all of Slater and Thurston and Inglis and Smith and Lockyer and they're all getting in. I only see 1 or 2.
You know, out of that whole era, if you get to pick one, who are you going to pick out of all that Storm guys? Or out of this era, the last 10 years, for me it's JT, man. What do you two think?
I've got here the the Hall of Fame Immortals on the NRL website. It says the Immortals of Rugby League in Australia are 13 players named as the greatest ever.
No.
To be chosen as an immortal is the greatest honour a player can receive, and it is widely considered that to earn the accolade he needs to have changed the game or had an impact beyond his career.
Impact beyond his career. That's interesting. Yeah, bro. Because I was thinking, how Andrew Johns is the last one in there. Does that discount Brad Fittler because they're the same era? Because I think he's deserved of being an immortal, man.
Well, before Andrew John, the player before him, in era wise, was Mal Meninga.
Yeah, they picked Andrew Johns first, and then Mal was the last one.
Yeah, Wally Lewis. So that's our kind of,
But there's two guys of the same era, though. Wally and Mal.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
Well, I just think that,
Besides an Andrew Johns era, would make... Stacey, did you hear that when we were talking about how... I was just telling this guy how the last three, current era-wise, is Andrew Johns, Wally Lewis, and Mal Meninga. So do you think that three covers that late or early 80s to the late 90s?
Yeah, I think so. You think
there's no one else that's going to come out of that era.
I'd be surprised.
you don't think anyone else is deserved from the era?
Not if you've only had 8 in 110 years. That means you're only getting one or two from each era. So that means guys like Freddie, Brad Fittler's not in there, Laurie Daly's not in there. I wouldn't mind seeing some other positions because it's quite stacked in the halves. So I think that's another reason why I plump for Smith. Or you brought up Lazarus as another good example. I wouldn't mind seeing other positions getting recognised. I don't know. I don't think there's a hooker in there, so I wouldn't mind chucking Smith in as well, just for that sort of strengthens that argument.
Well, I've got the guys, the names in here. So it's Clive Churchill, obviously, who people probably recognise as the greatest player ever. If you go back to John Raper, Reg Gasnier, Bob Fulton, Graham Langland, Wally Lewis, Arthur Beetson. So there's your prop. Andrew Johns, Herbert Daily Messenger, Frank Burge, Dave Brown, Norm Proven, and Mal Meninga. They're in the that's Hall of Fame Immortals, yeah. So, yeah, I think, what we were saying, how I think that Stacey does make a point, and you've made that point too, Simon, is that there's going to be a lot of guys, but I guess it's just the real standout dudes in that era, because, they are only going to take two from a... And unfortunately, that means guys like Greg Inglis, who were, when they were hot, but there were guys who were probably going to, they're probably... Billy Slater would be over him, I think, or...
I don't think he'll get it. I mentioned Inglis, personally, he's deserved, but purely on the fact that he's come in an era where there's 3 or 4 great guys in there, man, and he won't get it. I think any one of those 3, maybe not all 3 will get in, but JT, Smith, Slater, would be right up there. But I still think Fittler maybe possibly would be next, man.
Yeah, I think Smith is definite. I would think Slater would be up there, but then where does that leave Lockyer? Because Lockyer he'd be close.
Exactly.
Well, if Brad Fittler's not in there, I've put Lockyer in that same bracket as Brad Fittler. So maybe they're just a rung down.
I think Lockie's kind of almost forgotten, eh? Because Lockie's in the era between the 90s and the Queensland dominance era, mid-2000s. He's coming from between those 2 eras, and he's almost like a forgotten man. But, bro, look at his career, man. Look at what he's achieved. Definitely he's got to be up there with the Immortal, man. It's just that he's almost a forgotten man between the Johns era and the JT Smith era.
Yeah, no, if Brad Fittler can't make it and Laurie Daly can't make it, I think that Lockie is in that level, not Immortal
Yeah,
level,
yeah.
just the level underneath. I think Smith is next, and Slater. I'd put Slater as the. If I had to choose one other guy from this era, I'll pick Slater over Thurston. Just in a here.
I agree with you. Even though I just told you my personal views about Smith, I think they'll pick him. But
Okay.
you know what? It doesn't mean I agree with it.
Oh, good.
It doesn't mean I agree with it. I just think they'll go with him because. Well, I'm saying the whole fucking rugby league world's sniffing his ass, but I have my own opinions about that. But it's almost it's almost like a sin to rule out Langer, Freddie, who did I mention, Lockyer, before they put Smith in. You know what I mean? Because I agree with you. A lot of those journos, and a lot of the journos do the. I'm sure they do the voting, don't they? They've been pushing up Cameron Smith's name, but those three alone, Lockyer, Langer, and Freddie Fittler, and even Laurie Daly, probably not up to that standard, but man, those three have to have a mention before Smith gets in there, man. Surely.
Well, that's Andrew Johnson's fault then. When they fast tracked him into the Immortals, everyone could have said he's an Immortal in waiting, but because I think they just was in such a rush to get him in there, he kind of wrecked. He kind of threw off the chances of the other guys making it in, because then after that.
But I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that because Johnson's in there, you don't discount those guys.
Oh yeah, you don't. But he kind of, because he made it before Mal Meninga, yet Mal Meninga it finished way before him.
It's an interesting discussion, bro. We can go on for hours about that.
I hope Ken Irvine gets in. He should be in there already. Ken Irvine, he should make it in.
Why? Because he caught the ball and put it down.
Yeah, he's the best winger who's ever lived this.
Have you even seen him? Have you even watched those games, bro?
I watched some of those old games. Some of his highlights. He was bloody awesome, man.
Just because you're leading the stats doesn't mean you're great. Doesn't mean you're great.
He was the top try scorer from a team that won the Wooden Spoon, I believe, as well. So, I mean, he's one of the... I don't know if his record will be broken, Yeah, I think he scored over 200 tries at Aussie Rugby League level. And I think there's a big drop next to, I think Slater's second, with 160 or something like that. The fact checker's probably working overtime, checking my made-up numbers, but I'm pretty sure he's way ahead. Like 50 tries ahead of second best.
Slater is second. Slater is second. I think it's Ken Irvine, Slater, and then Steve Menzies.
I think third, yeah.
Oh, I was just looking up some old article, and it says that Peter Sterling reckons that Brad Fittler and Darren Lockyer should be the next Immortal.
Yeah, wow. One of the great minds of our game. I'll just touch on what Stacey said, Ken Irvine, and I wasn't around to watch him, but mate, I can pick fucking heaps of wingers above. Ken Nagus is a better winger than Ken Irvine, bro. You know what I mean?
This guy's just going down.
Francis Millie's a better winger than Ken Irvine. Well, are you laughing at Ken? Ken Nagus, one of the greats of that 90s Canberra team, Moose. He just didn't have the longevity. That's another thing. You, Stace, because you played a long time, you're kind of rewarding that, bro. It's not about longevity. It's about greatness.
Who's the greatest NFL player that's ever lived?
That's a tough.
Oh, I think it's Tom Brady. I think it's an easy answer. But isn't it part of his greatness related to the fact that he's been playing for 20-something years? The longevity. There's that old saying, like, the best ability is availability.
I just don't think that
long periods.
Stats is a part of it. But stats shouldn't rule you being great. There's a lot of factors, man, especially in a team sport. I don't know, man. I don't follow it Too hard. I don't follow NFL when it comes to the finals team. But, bro, I don't know. Man, what do you think, man? There's some great teams in the fucking 80s, man. Look at the 49ers team, man. You can't say that one person out of everyone's the greatest of all time. You can say someone's got a lot of rings, but it's not it's a discussion you can have all day, but it's not one that automatically makes you great of all time just because you got amount of rings or amount of premierships.
I think it just helps your argument. Like, I mean, if you were to say, like, Cameron Smith, he's played the most NRL games, he's played the most Origins, he's right up there with the most tests. And it's so to play the most Origins, it's not just about that's partly longevity, but that means also being the best in your position for 12, 10, 15, how many of the years he played Origin for. So I told you he was 9-time Dally M Hooker of the Year. So I mean, for him to
let's be honest,
not just playing a long time, but playing at an elite level for a decade.
Queensland had no one outside of Smith in the era. There's not many number 9s going around. So he was a product of a lack of depth. I'm not saying that he wasn't great. I'm just saying, based on your logic, longevity means that there's no one else fighting for your position. Do you know what I mean?
Medeiros was on his way down. Above everyone else.
At his peak, he was great. I don't know.
It means there's a big gap between you and everyone else. So.
Yeah, if you're that good.
Yeah, like I said, apples and oranges, bro.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like you've had this argument many times.
And it sounds like you've lost every single time.
Mate, I've killed a lot of debaters who want to come at me with Cameron Smith. You know what I mean? It's this, a lot of people, it's easy to fall in love with someone that's got all the stats, bro. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's move on.
I will actually give you some credit, because a lot of times when I hear the Cameron Smith vitriol, it's normally comes from New South Wales haters who just get pissed off about how dominant he was and how he was captain for 8 series or whatever it was. And it's normally haters, but because you are a Queensland supporter, it's just interesting to hear someone one of his own
every
supporters.
time the Storm played the Broncos, he was a real grub, and he's responsible for bringing jiu-jitsu into the game, really. But like I said, that's another topic. Yeah, this whole Storm.
Yeah, so he changed the game. He changed the game. Wasn't that one of the thing for Immortals? He changed the game because everyone copied his.
Changed the game into another sport, wrestling. He changed the game to wrestling. That's all. So that's good now that we've got it out of the game. But for a good 5 to 10 years, mate, we were looking at play the balls that took 5 minutes, bro. And guys were getting their arms twisted. We had a lot of neck injuries. So ever since now that he's retired, you see the numbers of injuries has come down now. We're clamping down on this stuff. So yeah, he's responsible for a lot post career. He's responsible for the lack of injuries now to the neck area. Right, just look at the evidence, bro. Look at the evidence. Come on.
I think what's happened tonight, though, I think you've got a couple more neck injuries, because there's a lot of shaking his So I've got a sore neck. I think Stacey's
as someone that's suffered a serious neck injury in the past, players like Smith is a grub. Me, when I tackle, we go in the breadbasket, mate. None of this third man in and then fucking twist jiu-jitsu shit, bro. But hey, if you want to kiss his ass because he's played 400 games, go ahead.
Oh, that was a nice way to round out our league. But Salim, thank you so much, boys. Anything you want to say? Anything before we finish up? Plus, we're gonna do it real time this weekend. Sunday after the last game. Sunday, yeah, is it Sunday the
Um,
Panthers game? No, so it's Friday, Saturday. So Friday, Saturday. So Saturday's the last game. So might have to do a nice Sunday sesh there, and we might have to get a couple of rums so we can be up to this guy's level, Stacey.
yeah.
Bro, we definitely get together before the grand final, bro.
Yeah. Now we'll have a quick one on Sunday just to catch up because I'm gonna go take our bets. I'm gonna take our bets in and see how good. I'm gonna go with Stacey's take with the Eels as well. Point spread wise, before we finish up, how much Eagles over Roosters for you, Si, and how much Eels over the Panthers for you?
I think, to be honest with you, I think Roosters, not through a lack of trying, but I think Sea Eagles got a lot more in them. So 13 plus Sea Eagles and Panthers in a tight one. Panthers, because I think Eels will be up for that. Both teams, but Panthers 12 and under, Sea Eagles, and if I can just add, Storm Sea Eagles grand final. G. Just for an outsider. Trebojevic 2 tries. I don't know, first try score. That's a lottery, bro. Trebojevic sub, always good for a try. The second game, bro, I like Kikau, man. I always have him in there every now and then. Kikau, he's got that nice, good little short ball off Luai. So Kikau and To'o, man, always good for tries. Eels gonna be, they'll have trouble on offense. They'll D up really well, but I just think on attack they're just very one-dimensional.
Yeah. I know I picked the Eels, so I'm going to stick with my picks. I think the Eels will win a close one. So I'll go. I like that Eels 12 and under. But
Ooh, that's an upset, bro.
yeah,
Good money on
yeah.
that.
So if the Eels get blown off the park, which is possible, I might not be back on Sunday because my picks was too kaya. But
No, you need to come back because I'll probably be about a couple of beers in, and I need to laugh at you with your hot take there.
yeah.
If the Eels win, I definitely want to hear from Tama.
Yeah. I like the sweeping plays down the left that the Seagulls do. So look for Garrick. I think he might be in for first try scorer. If he's in, he's had a good season too. Ruben Garrick on the left wing. But yeah, I think the Seagulls will win that one. Taukiaho out as well for the just more injuries on top of injuries for the Roosters. So yeah.
What do you guys reckon, Dally M?
Oh, Tom.
Tom, he's done enough in the last part. Cause he missed a few, but I was the same as you. I thought Tom done enough.
Ooh.
Yeah, because the games that the last couple of games he's probably got free votes.
I reckon every game he played, he scored a point.
Yeah, hard to go past Tom.
What do you reckon, Stace?
Yeah, I think
Dally M?
Yeah, Tom's a good shout. I'll give Cody Walker a secret shout too. I think he might be in for Smokey there if you want.
Right up there, bro.
Yeah.
He'll be right up there.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Seagulls can win something.
Oh well, boys, thank you very much for jumping on tonight. I think got to nearly hit the 2-hour mark there, but that makes up for the 20 during the regular season.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you, Si, calling in all the way from the GC, and
thanks for having me, Oz.
No, it's Stacey all the way from the Dirty South. We're definitely we're gonna get Cams also to upload this. We're recording this on a Tuesday night, so it'll be up. And then to all the guys that are listening, please tune in next week because either one of us is gonna be laughing at either Tama or Simon's takes, and Stacey's takes. So thank you very much, and guys, we'll catch up soon.
Yep.
See you.
Sweet. Thanks, boys.
Bye.
Bye.
Simon.